I'm so fucking tired. So tired of shit. So tired of just everything. Everything. I'm so sick of the way everything works. The dysfunction that's been put on us as human beings, and then the way it just wrecks everything. Just like this fucking commercial. Why is this commercial allowed to exist? Criminals, gangs, and terrorists coming. Those damn Mexicans. Yes. 13,000 killers and 15,000 rapists. How could we possibly know that? How could they possibly know that 13,000 killers and 15,000 rapists came here? I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired of everything, and I'm so tired of my life not working the way I want it to. I'm tired of I mean, this is it doesn't matter what it is. I don't feel like things work the right way. And shit, maybe I'm the crazy one. And I'm okay with that. If we can figure out how I'm the crazy one, then, we can go from there. But if you could tell me how the world is really fucked up, whatever the problem is, whatever the fucking problem is, whether it's a personal problem, whether it's a geopolitical problem, whether it's an environmental problem, whatever it may be. Why aren't we looking at what the problem is and then saying, okay, let's fix it? Everybody has to take responsibility for their part, and let's fix it. It's like Christians, right? Your religion is just full of pedophiles and just violations on so many levels. So why aren't the only reason it doesn't work, the only reason it doesn't get better is because Christians won't look for it, won't look at it. Trump 2024, hey, we got a dumbass Trump supporter. Woo. Dumb Trump supporter. Lots of them. But see, this is a prime example of it. If I ask you, hey, what are some of Trump's policies? Why are you supporting this guy? What are the policies? What are the things that he says that makes you want to support him? How is he going to make the country better? What are some of the things he says he's going to do? You don't know. You just don't know. I'm sure you love being in trains. Biden, well, you missed the boat on that one, bud. Like, it's crazy to me to think about it. Like, why? How do they convince people that Trump isn't one of the boys? Like, how do they convince all these stupid asses? Drill baby, right. Like, that was something that was said. Drill baby drill. So then you repeat that. That's a policy. Drill baby drill is a policy. Like, just stupid shit. Just like, and this is what I'm saying. This is you see this everywhere. You think that what's going to fix the country, what's going to fix society, is a Donald Trump? And then look, I mean, this is what they do. Hulk Hogan 20, right? Like, this is how they work. This is how they operate. Once the initial thing gets thrown to the side, then they just sort of shut down and start saying stupid things. It's amazing how this works so consistently. And this exists with everything. I mean, at least with the Kamala side, there's policies. There's like something. There's something to hold on to. I can't imagine why anybody, especially people of color, women, Why would anybody support that? Protect women and stop illegal migration. Yeah, that's not a thing. See, this is like this. It's hard to argue with people about fantasy shit, right? Like this illegal migration thing. It wasn't an issue. Nobody's talking about any of it. Nobody's even experiencing it. As a matter of fact, all the crime is down by 50%. And so Trump comes in and he stokes that racist fire and he says, hey, those Mexicans, those Mexicans coming across the border, they're coming to steal black and Mexican jobs. And stupid people just go with it. Latinas for Trump. I support his policies on immigration and foreign policy. Again, just stupid stuff. What policies? You can say the same things, but it's not going to matter. We have had over 13 million illegal border crossers in our country. The law needs to be upheld and Trump to deport them. Yeah, that's just dumb. I mean, it's just stupidity. 13 million. Do you know how many people 13 million is? Like the idea that 13 million people it's just they throw these numbers out, and because you're too stupid to actually think about it, you just go with it. 13 million people crossing. It's just stupid. It's fucking stupid. I'm citing news sources. Sure you are. And we believe that because you say so. Oh, now it's 30 million. I mean, and again, this is that same stupidity. So the wall that Trump said Mexico was going to build it, pay for it, and like it. Never mind that, right? Never mind the fact that the American taxpayers paid for it, and then we pay for it on the back end as well, with all the products being so much more expensive to cover the tariffs that we don't actually see the benefit of. Like, it's stupid. Get out of here with those facts. Smoke weed and pretend to be a Republican in the comments section. Like, this is what a Trump supporter's like. I just don't even understand what they're saying half the time. And this whole thing about immigration, the idea that the problem in this country is the Mexicans coming over and picking the strawberries. Like, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. You are in so much more danger from white and black people than you are from Mexicans. But you're just foolish. How am I supposed to have a conversation with you if you're just going to call me stupid and disregard everything I say? Well, I'm disregarding what you say because it's not true and you're not actually saying anything. I ask you for policies and you say nonsense. I mean, it's dumb. I don't know how else to do it. You have to be stupid to fall for the Trump shit. And the reality is you have to be stupid to fall for the election bullshit. That's what the big thing is. It's all bullshit. Whether it's Kamala or it's Trump, it's bullshit. And the fact that you fall for this and everybody's so distracted by this while there's a fucking genocide happening, it just shows you everything people need to know. What is your thoughts? We hear what you are against, but what are you for? Oh, I'm for not falling for it anymore. I think what would be really great is if 95 to 99% of the people they expect to show didn't vote. Because this is one of those things. I'm going to say this, and I guarantee none of you Trump supporters are going to even address this point. But if you believe voting works, you're kind of stupid. Because Trump lost the election in 2016 by 2.7 million votes. And the swamp that he was supposed to drain put him in anyway. Trump lost the election in 2016. Trump's never won an election. He lost the election in 2016. Are you guys going to address that? Are you guys going to address the fact that he lost the election by 2.7 million votes? That's not close. See, again, this is where they've sort of tricked you. You think 2.7 million votes is like 2.7 cents out of $1 or some shit. 2.7 million votes is a fucking. So the thing is, the other thing is, instead of you being distracted by what you think they differ on, because I don't even know, like, again, I don't know any of Trump's policies or anything to be able to even really go against them, because he doesn't have any. He just says nonsense. The whole transgender sex changes thing is the dumbest shit ever. It's so stupid. It's such a dumb distraction. And so for me, I'm so much more concerned with what they both agree on, which is that we should keep dumping money into Israel, if not more money into Israel. So I'm not stupid enough to fall for either side. They don't tell me we're going to slap you with the left hand or slap you with the right, and I go, okay, I'll take well, are you left or right-handed? Okay, you're right-handed, then hit me with the left, because it's the lesser of two evils. I'm not stupid like that. And I'm not stupid enough to think that one of the choices that I'm given somehow isn't a part of the circle. You know, the super rich guy who was best buddies with Epstein and used his power to cover up Epstein's death. These are things that never get brought up. Notice how all these guys that had so much to say got super quiet when you bring up the 2016 election. Trump did not win. And the crazy thing is the Trump administration hasn't even like adjusted. They're just running this exact same playbook they ran in 2015, where they lost. You know, it's another really crazy part that the Trump supporters don't want to talk about. 40 out of the 46 people in his administration refused to endorse him. 40 out of the 46 people in his previous administration, including his vice president, refused to endorse him. And yet you still fall for this bullshit? Like, it's so strange. So while you're arguing one side of the coin, I'm going, hey, let's look at who's fucking giving us the coin. You're like, no, we need to argue over what they tell us to argue over. They tell us not to talk about them, we're not allowed to talk about the Jews. The Jews tell us not to talk about them. So we got to do what we're told. So they tell us not to talk about them and to talk about Trump and Harris. So that's what we're going to talk about. Okay. It's so nuts. We all sit here and talk about how bad this system is and how fucked up it is and blah, blah, blah. And yet all these people are proud Trump supporters. Would you leave Trump? Would you leave your daughter with Trump? Trump, who finds his daughter more attractive than his wife? You know? Trump, who again was best buddies with Epstein for many years. Epstein, Trump, and Stephanopoulos were known as the Three Amigos or the Three Musketeers. I never remember which one it is. For many years in the New York nightlife scene. But that you guys don't like talking about that, do you? Look at how my numbers have dropped. Funny, man. Isn't it funny how when you bring up facts, Trump supporters fall off? They just don't like factual things. I want to say dumb shit like immigration. I support him because of immigration. I support him because I'm racist. Because those Mexicans, you're just racist. You're sexist. You're homophobic. You know, all those typical Christian American things. And it's disgusting. You know, why can't you acknowledge the truth? Why aren't you talking about the fact that your buddy lost the first election and the swamp, the system, put him in anyway? The deep state. The deep state. It's another one of those Trump terms, the deep state. It's not the government we can see. No. It's not the people we can hold accountable. You know, Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell looks like a Muppet. It's not those guys. No. Adam Schiff and all the Jews that are like dominate our government. It's not them. It's the deep state. It's the government you can't see. It's the government you can't see. More of that invisible stuff. The big issue isn't the Jews that control our society that can constantly like manipulate us and poison us and you know make all these terrible decisions for us. No. It's the germs. It's the invisible germs that you got to come get your shot for. Don't forget to get your shot. Cuz you got to kill those invisible germs. Oh, watch out for the invisible rocks falling from the sky. They're going to wipe you out. Don't focus on that fact Trump lost that first election. It really doesn't matter whether we vote for Trump or not. If the system wants Trump in office, the system will put Trump in office like they did in 2016. How do you guys ignore this shit? Why do Trumpanzees always forget to acknowledge the fact that COVID was Trump's baby? So this guy's a football expert. This fat Jew is a football expert, right? Not the Mike Vicks that are here too. Like you got Mike Vick, you got Woodson, you got Edelman, but on either side you have a woman and a fat Jew. No, nothing going on there. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. You guys are nuts. You guys are nuts. And the thing is, like, notice how when somebody asks me questions or brings stuff up, I address it. I never hide. You guys all said stuff, and I addressed everything that was said. You ask me what my thoughts are, and then you disappear. As soon as I start bringing up facts, you disappear. And it's weird. It's just weird. You know, this whole thing, this idea that Kamala should have done this and Kamala should have done that. The vice presidency is a joke. It's a joke. It's only relevant if the president gets killed. Then the vice president becomes fucking matters. But the vice presidency is a joke. If you look up the powers of the vice president, it's like to succeed the president should something happen, and some other bullshit, like some other, like he's just a representative or like a you know, it's dumb. Look, there's the other Manning. It's weird, man. I challenge all of you. Like, just tell me what I'm wrong about. So many people have something to say for a minute, but then when you know you go deeper than they're willing to swim, they just get out of the pool. You know. Write that down. You know, why do you think you're so unwilling or incapable of talking about Jews, about Israel? Like, if Jews in Israel are good, then you should have nothing, like you should have no problem coming in and defending them and telling me what I'm getting wrong. And, you know, like where's if they're so good, why won't you talk about it? Why do you feel like they're off limits? It's fucking stupid. It's you know, I just can't understand that about yourself. Like, why are you self-policing? Why do you tell yourself, hey, buddy, don't talk about that? Do you understand that since last October 7th, we've given Israel over $18 billion? Not just the military aid. You know, that's not that. I'm talking about money. We've given them $18 billion money. Whether they say that's earmarked for military or what, it doesn't matter. It's money. 18 billion plus dollars. Do you really think $18 billion wouldn't be better spent on the United States? On a living wage for home spouses? On a pedophile hunter program that is top notch, best of the best? Heck, how many of you disagree with me on that? First and foremost, let's go with that. How many of you think it's better to give Israel $18 billion to murder people? Israel, a first world country, you know, they don't need any help. How many think it's better to give Israel $18 billion than use that $18 billion to create an online pedophile hunter program like a government style DAP, Dads Against Predators, or Pop Squad, or it's funny how, as always, the biggest one, the one that's allowed to get the biggest channel, is the Jew, Gordon Flowers. The big fat Jew guy. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. But what if there was a professional, $18 billion a year, or an $18 billion funded, $3.8 billion a year? I would think that the pedophile hunter program wouldn't need a continuous flow of $3.8 billion every year. I would imagine at first it would, up and running, it's going to cost a bunch. But once things start happening and these pedophiles start getting wiped out, well, that funding is not going to be needed as much. It's not going to need to be as high. And then we can move on. Again, I think a living wage for house spouses is like, it's something that you guys just have never even been told to think about. Wonder why. You ever wonder why you see these old women at Walmart, Target, Costco and shit? You ever wonder why you see these really old women working at these places, generally as like a greeter or something? Because, when you go to the store, you need somebody to be standing there to say, hey, hello, thank you. You need that, right? Do you know why they do that? Because that old woman, her husband probably died, and she was a stay-at-home mom, wife, whatever. And when his benefits ended, or when he died, the benefits ended. So this woman who's never had to take care of herself suddenly has to take care of herself. But that's okay, right? All the grandmothers and shit, that's okay. Like you just don't understand. Like, this system is geared against us. It's designed against us. It's made by and for Jews, and it's to keep us in the position that we're in, this subservient, the goyim position. It's like if cows suddenly decided that they weren't going to be cows anymore. Like, that's basically what it sounds like. That's what it is. Like, that's how they see us. They see us as no different than cows. Pigs, dogs, cats, tables, chairs, you name it. That's all goyim. Goyim is here to be used by them to make their lives better. Why are we all okay with that? Like, it's crazy to think like how dominant the Jews are in Hollywood and government and all that shit. And most of you have no idea what their beliefs are, or what they think, or any of that shit. You don't even realize Christianity is Jewish. Christianity is an offshoot of Judaism that sprang up somewhere around -2 or -3, according to the dumb narrative we're given. Like, it's wild. It really is. When you think about it, it's just fucking wild. Why does this exist? Why do we exist in this narrative where this one group of religious people is allowed, this cult is allowed to be dominant and untouchable. We won't talk about them. Your average person won't talk about them. Your average person will stop you from talking about them, will tell you, you're not allowed to say that. You can't blame the Jews. Look what they did to Mel Gibson. The fact that Mel Gibson's arrest video where he was drunk and saying whatever, that was released to the public. How did that even get released to the public? Do you know how many times somebody like that gets pulled over drunk and arrested or whatever, and their arrest video doesn't immediately hit the scene? Why did Mel Gibson's? Especially back then. Because they needed to make the example out of him. You know, and Mel didn't say anything wrong. The thing about the Jews is they never deny any of it. There's no denial. And what do you deny? Like the craziest thing is that they have us believing that it's a racial slur. It's on par with saying, you know, Asians have little dicks and black people are lazy and will steal from you, and Jews have all the money and the power and the control. Do you understand how ridiculous it is to think that is some sort of slur? That's some sort of negative. How dare you say that one group of people has all the money and the power and the control? Oh, that is horrible. I know if I heard that about black people, I'd start crying. If I heard that about white people, I'd start crying. How dare you? Don't you dare say we have all the money and the power. Oh my God. Do you understand how stupid they have you? They have you just flat out stupid. You believe, like the amazing part is how many people by the numbers are Christian. And you subscribe to a narrative where you believe in a God that thinks a completely different version, a different religion is his favorite. That's his favorite people, not you, not the worshipers. No, his favorite people are the people who think Christians are fucking stupid. Like, I mean, wake the fuck up. How do you not see that? How do you if it is pointed out to you, how do you then justify it to yourself? How do you reconcile that? Your God favors a different cult, and that cult thinks you are fucking stupid. And you, like, all right, yeah, okay, you're the chosen one, so. Do you realize how just batshit crazy that is? Or am I out of line here for assuming you're smarter than that? Like, it's fucking shocking. It really is shocking. Rob Feinstein, piece of shit. Sorry, guys. I just, you know. So seriously, so it's been 30 minutes. At one point, I had 23 people here, like I always do. I mean, I'm kind of, I don't really understand how this works. It seems like the Israeli thing. This is what they used to do. Like this is old school Facebook shit, really, where immediately you go live, takes about a couple minutes, and then suddenly you're hit with 20 plus people, and then it's like they turn off their transponders or whatever. They turn off the thing, and then at the exact same time, the number goes in half, and then it drops again. And this happens every day, the exact same way, the exact same time. So clearly there's something else going on there. But that usually happens within the first, couple minutes. And so then I had the Trumpanzees here for, 5, 8 minutes maybe. And then, I'm addressing what they're saying. And then I put something forth to them. And as soon as I put my side forth, then it just shuts down. And instead of, these people that literally came here to talk shit, like their goal, their point was to cause an issue, to be a negative, a thorn in the side. Instead of engaging, instead of continuing, they just shut down. How does that make sense? I mean, at the end of the day, that's all I ever want is shit has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense to you, why believe it? Why do you believe stuff that you can't even talk about? You get mad when people start talking about it. Don't you dare talk about the truth. Oh, yeah, football players. Vote. Get out there and vote. They're telling us to vote again. It makes it a lot easier to not believe the narrative when you read like the official historical accounts and the shit you're supposed to believe. And you then go, well, the people that tell me I have to believe this stuff, the people that tell me to vote are the same people that tell me I have to believe the historical narrative. And the historical narrative is just clearly bullshit. It really is wild, It really is like, for me, the fact that everything I look up or I look into doesn't make me go, holy shit, I guess I was wrong about that. Everything I look into, I read, whatever, I end up going like, how does anybody believe? And I'm assuming like, okay, so this is the official historical record. This should make me, I should feel it. I should know it as I read it. I should be like, oh gosh, okay, yeah, this makes all the sense. I see blah, blah, blah. I see there's no holes. Like reading the Bible. I should be reading the Bible and get this overwhelming feeling that I know I'm reading the truth and it makes sense and it answers questions and all that. And that never fucking happens. The opposite happens. And that's what happens with everything that has to do with church, or I mean with history too. Anything you guys suggest, the history of this, the history of that. It's wild. Like, it really is crazy to think like it shouldn't be so easy for me. That's what I find so shocking is how simple it is to be the quote truther. I would think it would be, I'd be swimming against this really difficult tide, and it is difficult, but it's only difficult because of the stupidity, because of the measures put in place to ensure the narrative is accepted. Your average Christian, I mean, you really, really have to be straight up fucking stupid to believe that shit. It's a requirement. I mean, the notion of the God making the virgin pregnant, if that makes sense to you, I mean, that's not how things work. It's just wild. The requirement for the stupidity is something I'm really struggling with. I'm struggling with it being put on my kids. I'm struggling with it just with my brothers and sisters, with you guys. How are you all so stupid? How are you all so stupid and you don't realize it doesn't bother you? Like, it's like, again, whatever it is, whatever invention, You know, whatever historical narrative you want to look up, you'd be surprised how bad it is. Most of you believe it, but you don't realize how, like, you don't know why you believe it. You believe it because you were told to believe it, but you don't know anything about it. It used to be like shocking. Now it's expected, so it's not as shocking. But when it comes to Christians, it's like shocking how many people will claim to be Christian, get mad, violently mad or whatever, and they don't know anything about it. They barely remember what they were forced to read when they were kids, and now they believe it in a just in case kind of way. And anytime you start saying things that sort of rock their foundations, they turn into the shoot the messenger, and they act like children. It's the craziest thing. You know, it's people argue their own narrative. When they know they're wrong, they will argue their own narrative. My wife does it to me all the time. Everybody does it. Anytime somebody says, "Oh, so what you're saying is," it's like they're all automatically they're arguing. You know, so what you're saying is them putting it into words that they can then argue against, because the way you said it, they couldn't quite argue against it. Go watch any of my videos from the last whenever, and you'll see nothing but, like, there'll be videos that have tons of comments, if the comments are still there. A lot of times they remove the comments or whatever after the fact. But you'll see, like, there'll be certain people that will come in and they'll just keep arguing their own narrative. And I just go, well, why don't you? I mean, I'm pretty straightforward. Like, I don't have a problem saying anything I say, and if there's something that I say that maybe you needed clarification on or more information, like, I'm no problem. Open right up. Tell you whatever answer, whatever questions I can. And yet, you know, you see this same, like, the same method is used everywhere. That's the thing that's so crazy to me. And it's Christian, Muslim. I'd say it's Jew, but Jews never have the balls to actually engage in a conversation, and because they can't. Literally, the Jews aren't even delusional enough to think they can. They're probably taught at a young age that, like, look, what we believe is pretty awful. And anybody that stands up to you is going to bring up a bunch of shit you can't argue against. So don't argue with people, because you'll lose. You're not smart enough. And Jews aren't very smart. They're actually pretty stupid. It's like you have to reprogram yourself to see it. You have to because they've put all this effort into programming us to be these mindless fucking goyim, you know, slaves. Like, you know, the other day when my buddy, my ex-friend, I should say, we had gotten in one of our talks. We did this every couple months. Yep.
Okay. Oh, we did the note.
Cool. I can't wait to see it. He says, you know, we do this and he's like, you know, I agree with most of what you say. He's like this rich millionaire type, and I went to school with him, and he's like, I agree with you, you know, most of the things you say, but I don't know. Every time I ask him about something that he doesn't agree with, his response is like, I don't know. I don't know. It's really funny. So the other day, I assume he's drunk, because he's slurring his words a bit, and he's just being like a dumb drunk girl. And he's like, hey, I'm going to get one of my friends to get on the three-way conversation, and I want to hear you guys talk, because I think you guys really get along. You you guys think a lot of the same things, and yada, and I knew what he was doing. He was shit starting. You're not gonna put. I'm like, why would you want to put me on a phone conversation with somebody who's just gonna agree with me? That's gonna be boring. But that's not what happens. So his friends finally gets on, and he's like, okay, guys, go ahead, talk. And it's like, dude, what do you mean? Like, this is like my wife taking me to her friend's house and being like, her husband's really cool. Go hang out with him. Got a play date. You know? So he's like, I'm like, why don't you, you're sort of the mediator here. You're the moderator. So why don't you tell us what you want us to talk about? And he's like, oh, okay. Why don't you talk about the Israel-Hamas stuff? I was like, oh, okay. Well, I think the Jews in Israel control everything. They control the world. The Israel-Hamas thing is all bullshit. It's all lies. No Israelis were killed on October 7th. No Jews were taken hostage. Like, it's all bullshit. And the Jews control, I believe in the absolute Jewish conspiracy. And this guy now has the opportunity to put me in my place and to let me know, like, what I'm getting wrong, right? His response is that because I'm suggesting that they control the money, the entertainment industry, the government, multiple things, that's too many different things for it to be under one control. It's too many different directions. And I was like, dude, that's a silly argument. Like, what do you even... That's silly. And that's it takes, like, I think most people would have sort of engaged in that argument. And for me, I just shut it down. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what? No. That's dumb. So you're saying that the company that says, hey, we clean up any kind of mess, that can't exist. If a company says they clean up stuff, they can only clean up like this. One company exists to clean up fires. Another company exists to clean up spills. Another company exists to clean up, like, dirt. Like, no. If you're a cleanup company, you clean everything up. Your job is cleanup. If you're the Jews, you control all forms of control because you're all about control. Like, just stupid. And that's the best argument he can make. His second argument is that he goes off on this weird race tangent because I'm like, Jews aren't a race. Oh, yes they are. There's ethnic Jews and that. And I'm like, yeah, but I made the mistake of bringing up white because white people are just looking for every the thing is that's what's happening when you're talking with most people. Depending on how they're engaging in the conversation to begin with. If they're on your team and they like what you're saying, they're going to just agree and blah, blah, blah. But if they're looking for, they want you to be wrong, they're looking for any little thing that they can jump on. So when I said, you can convert to Jew, it's not like it's not a race. You can't convert to a race. There's nothing you could do to convert to being black. He's, oh, so only white people can do it? And he starts going off on these weird, like, again, arguing his own narrative. Oh, so what you're saying is only white people can be blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? And I even pointed it out. Dude, now you're starting to argue your own thing. And anytime somebody does that, they know they're wrong. And you'd be surprised. You'd be really surprised how people respond to that. A lot of times they're just going to get mad. But it's like it's going to throw them off. If you start calling somebody out for what they're doing, it throws them off. The dance has to work. They have to make this step, and then you have to make that step. But if you make a different step and you go into them when you're supposed to go away, it just throws them off. I find it fascinating, man. I see it every single time. Like, you can always see it in my comments. You can see these crazy things people say, arguing their own narrative or arguing the narrative that they were given. They're not arguing like what you're saying, or you ask the Trump supporter, give me some of his policies, and he says, I'm with him because of immigration. Okie doke. Like it's all right there in front of you. I still think the Trump quote shooting is one of the biggest stories ever not being talked about. I mean, it's shocking. How is this not a big deal, a big story? How is this not like it's fake? It's all fake. It's all just fake bullshit. If you can show me any proof of that, I'm all for it. But at the same time, like, where is the Mindy Robinsons of the world? Where's Mindy? Why isn't Mindy making a video like she did about Las Vegas shooting? I mean, think about it. Think about how every year that goes by, anniversaries of these horrific events are taking place. Anniversaries of the Pulse nightclub shooting, which prior to the Las Vegas shooting was the largest shooting event in American history, not including the Native American narrative, which I don't really believe anyway. But, like, every year there should be a every year September 11th goes by and nobody really talks about it. Nobody talked about it this year. It might pop up on September 11th, but then after that, it's like we all just don't think about it. We all don't talk about it. And it's just, that's, they can't, they have to keep us from, it's like why they don't teach, why your child doesn't have a huge World War II Holocaust. Like when I was growing up, every month or every year we had like a month, maybe 2 months worth of in our history classes, and it was always World War II was a section that we would always spend at least a month on, and they were always reiterating the Jew myth, the Holocaust Jew myth, and just beating it into our heads that we needed to be submissive and we needed to practice Semitism because of this Holocaust. For those that don't know, Semitism means you believe or practice the belief or disposition to show Jews favor. You believe in Jewish supremacy. Semitism is Jewish supremacy. Therefore, anti-Semitism is anti-Jewish supremacy. Be proud of your anti-Semitism. You absolutely should be. See, again, where is everybody to tell me how I'm wrong about that? It's crazy. It's crazy how this happens. Like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to argue facts. I'm going to argue the facts that they want us to know. They want us to know these things, so I'm telling them to you. Something amazing is happening here. How come you're not arguing against me with facts? How come you're not debunking the things that I'm saying? I can't believe I have 3-4 people in here pretty much consistently. The number keeps fluctuating between 3 and 4. And nobody has anything to say? You're crazy because you just said this. Well, tell me. Please, anybody, tell me. Tell me what I'm wrong about. I just feel like this is all so obvious and sad and irritating. And I mean, there's a fucking genocide happening right now, you guys. Well, they have, half the world arguing about whether, Christian Sky Daddy is the right Sky Daddy. And the other half going, nope, Muslim Sky Daddy is the right Sky Daddy. And then those two are kind of arguing and always on the verge of war. You have Christians and Muslims being killed left and right by the Israelis, and nobody's fucking talking about it. Or not, actually, it's not nobody's talking about it. It's being bragged about. It's not being talked about in the negative light it should be being talked about in. I'm never, like, it's just fucking crazy that the Israelis are able to pull off a genocide while bragging, while making videos showing this happening. Like, I thought they had learned their lesson. You know, I thought they learned their lesson with Vietnam. Because the Jews, that's how the Jews see things, right? The Jews see it like, if you show Jews have been harmed, well, Jews have been programmed to believe if a Jew gets killed, then at least 100 Goyim need to die in response. You know, 1,000 taken prisoner. You know, for every Jew that gets hurt, every Jew that gets killed, there has to be a price to pay. And so they came up with this bullshit narrative of the it started initially it was 1500, around 1500. Then it was around 1400. Then it dropped down to around 1200. And now it's like 1163 or something like that. Supposed Israelis were killed on October 7th. No proof, just a list of names. Here's a list of names. That should be proof. And then when you look at the list of names, sure is a lot of military people. Why is it so many military people? Gosh, that's weird. But the thing that I guess most of you don't know or whatever, you gotta think about it. The Jews deem their beliefs more important than anything. So whenever a Jew is killed, instead of it being something where there's a proper investigation into the claims that more than likely the Jews are saying about this Jew being killed, the person is buried within 24 hours. I don't even understand how that's possible. There was the Jew chick that was here. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Poor Michael Jackson Bolanos. Jackson Bolanos. B-A-L-A. Oh, B-O-L-A. B-O-L-A-N-O-S. Let's see if there's any new information on him. Stop! Michael Jackson Bolanos gets 18 months for lying to police. Unfucking believable. The murder and home invasion charges against Michael Jackson Bolanos, the man accused of killing Samantha Wohl inside her home last fall, have been dismissed. Yet he will not walk free as he was sentenced to at least 18 months for lying to police. I mean, this is insane. The Jews are so embarrassed that they couldn't just find this guy to blame this on, that they're going to punish him for it. You get 18 months. So Samantha Wohl, 3 weeks after October 7th, so around October 27th, around October 21st, I don't know. Samantha Wohl was a Jewish community leader who you know what? As much as I appreciate everyone being here, I'm going to restart this video in the hopes that we could get, you know, I just want to put the Samantha Wohl. Fuck it. We'll just keep going. No. Like for those of you that don't believe that the Jews are liars, right? Let's look up Samantha Wool. Let's see what I can find out about Samantha. Samantha Wool. Samantha Wool, Wikipedia. Samantha Wool, June 15th, 1983 to October 21st, 2023, was a Jewish community leader, founder of the Muslim Jewish Forum of Detroit, the president of Isaac Agree Downtown Synagogue in Detroit, Michigan. On October 21st, 3 weeks later, she was found stabbed to death outside her home. Her killing, amid increased tensions during the 2003 Israel-Hamas war, drew international attention, but police ruled out anti-Semitic motivations for her slaying. Her boyfriend, her Jewish boyfriend, actually admitted to doing it. This case is... I gotta reset. I gotta restart. I gotta restart. Pedophiles, kill yourself.